Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Okweyemi Olugbemiro and I am very excited about telling the stories of Africa's most ambitious brands. That is what drives me. And that is an integral part of my whole work, mission, vision, story, and every other thing. And so most of the times I ask myself, how can I help a lot more African businesses get their storytelling right? Because I strongly believe that one of the missing parts in Africa's expansion or explosion, which I think is going to happen in the coming years, is how we tell our stories. Go and see some of the most prosperous African nations. One of the things that they are getting right is that they are telling their stories. I think I have an interview on Smooth FM that focuses a lot more on why I think that is. I'm going to put that here on the hyperlink. You can go watch it. So it gives you a bit more context into what I want to share today. But one of the things that is really important for me, and I want to talk about today is communities, loyal communities. How do we hack this? And I'm going to be discussing it with examples of past brands in Nigeria at the point where I was old enough to notice things, right? And that have gotten to do a few things that I feel that are major stuffs that we can replicate. No, not replicate. Learn from and execute a new one or do something better than that in the newer generation, right? As we continue to evolve as brands. Some of those brands are still existing, but I think they have done some amazing job. A few days ago, I visited the Hingees office. I don't even know, maybe that's where I should start from, but it just came to my mind. I visited Hingees office and I got to see someone release stuff. And I'm like, no, guy, I'm not leaving this place without collecting one. And I collected one. And I mean, which paid for. But the fact that there is an access that I have as someone who is a strong supporter and in terms of funding, like paying for stuff and also pushing the brand everywhere I go, the fact that I see that it is appreciated, I see that I have access to some things that even some people do not have, gives me a nice feeling that I think that will keep me coming back to the brand forever and ever and ever. Yeah. So I'm just saying that helping or having communities that feel like you care for them can be one of the most integral parts of building a sustainable lifestyle brand over a period of time. If people like you, or if you're beginning to grow a community, how do you make them feel special based on the decision they have made to choose you over and over and over? I know that's why companies do loyalty programs. That's why they are like air miles, right? That's why over a period of time, if you are a regular customer, let me even give one example that is good and that the local people in Nigeria, like indigenous people in Nigeria, will be able to get. If you regularly patronize this booker, right, you can't get bad meat. You will always be getting big meat, especially if you have formed relationship with the person who is usually serving meat. And it's usually one person on meat and soup. Then the other person is cutting the amala. Or the person is cutting the inyo. Inyo is pounded yam. But yeah, so if you are a regular customer to that booker and you have had a good relationship, you will get access to stuff. You will get access to things that you with like normal people who are just visiting the place would not get. Yes, there's a standard relationship that you should have with all the people who kind of like patronize your business, but loyal people should feel a sense of the fact that because I am committing XYZ to this brand appreciates me well enough, right, to carry me like egg. Yes. And everybody wants to be appreciated, irrespective of how you want to say it or not. Because some people say no, we don't. But no, everybody wants to feel appreciated. But again, I mean, so today's conversation is a lot around brand efforts that I think leverage communities, right? Leverage like hardcore communities. One I'm going to talk about, and that's where I'm going to start, apart from the fact that I've mentioned Hinges, is Mr. Biggs, right? I always wanted to go to Mr. Biggs after church. It was like the standard place to go. I mean, and again, it was on that Aba Road, right? Almost directly opposite, I think it was almost directly opposite Shell Arrowway. And the thing had like some children playground. I mean, this is Port Harcourt, right? So after church, my church was in Artillery. We drove down, got to Mr. Biggs, Meatpie, then some superstrika, and there was also one play area. I mean, now this is not even talking about, because I started with like being loyal and treating your community right. That's not even where I'm going to. But I mean, that's part of the fact that there was a community effect to Mr. Biggs. More like, you know, they go Mr. Biggs alone, right? There are people that go with you, and there is this, we want to go play, we want to go there and have fun, we want to go there and enjoy life, right? And it was more like there was this family appeal. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. There was this family appeal to Mr. Biggs, and the more families found safety, comfort, and convenience in coming to Mr. Biggs, the more they had more families coming, because this family have experienced you see that family experience, and you too, you want to experience the same thing, you bring your own family, this other family, and I think that also helped them scale at that time, right? Because there was a lot of family attention on Mr. Biggs. Kids begged their parents to go to Mr. Biggs, and I think that understanding how to target and retarget a certain community and continue to give them meaningful value over a period of time could be something more brands should be looking at, or should be something a few brands could learn from in terms of scaling the experiences that you want to dish out. I mean, so first, I mean, most of the times I usually say it when I come to talk here, quality is not this goes without saying. Excellent customer service goes without saying. So these are some of the things that you just add to it, right? So I mean, those ones, if you are not doing them, again, I'm not having a conversation with you, right? So those ones are out of the question. Another one in terms of this community feel, because I'm going to be looking at community from like different point of view. I'm looking at community from the point of view of, yes, you have like loyal fans, right? And I'm also looking at community from the point of that, because you are serving a specific segment, a specific community, they will continue to patronize you over a period of time. So far, certain things remain standard, right? So leveraging, targeting communities to help your brand. Indomie, bum, 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 bum. See, God, you know, one of the best things Indomie, if I say thanks, okay, but yeah, one of the best things Indomie ever did was that Indomitable. Oh God, that Indomitable. It was we'll put it on fridge, we'll put it on our school bag, we'll put it everywhere. It was an integral part of the childhood, man. I mean, for people who are like in their early, mid, and late 20s now, that Indomitable thing, man, it was like, we did buy carton of Indomie because of Indomitable sticker. So I mean, they were able to get their demography to be crazy about them, right? Some of us even came to school with our stickers, very proud. We chose some of the characters. I can't remember the characters now, but I can see them. There's the stretchy, there's the one with the eyes, like there's the lady too. Like it was an integral part of our childhood. And for some, the only reason why those families were continuing to buy Indomie at that particular period of time is because we wanted the packet, we wanted the Indomie. So we were buying Indomie and anything Indomie. But again, that was an important way to connect with people who have been loyal to you, right? It was also another important way to connect with their segments, their customer segments, people who were patronizing them, because we were liking it, we loved it, we really loved it. I'm trying to say that if you find a way to excite the demography that patronizes you, you may be on the way to building a sustainable relationship with them over time. So that was one big one, right? That was one big one. Then another one was Saturday mornings for me. Was a whole lot of cartoons and Silverbird. There was one Cadbury Breakfast show. Like, I cannot forget it. Cadbury Breakfast show. See, like, if you were young and you did not do Cadbury Breakfast show, I don't know, but maybe it was for those of us that were in the other side, because that time. But again, for those of us that were in the other side, we did Cadbury Breakfast show. We were enjoying it. All the cartoons were showed on Saturday morning, and we did not miss anything, right? That was one of the introduction to Cadbury for a lot of us, right? And it was almost all our favorite cartoons were showed in that period in the morning. And I cannot forget it. I am like 20 plus now, and it's still in my mind. I can still imagine how we ran and ensured that we finished our chores every Saturday to ensure we were seated in front of the TV from around like 8, I think, to like 12:1. Different cartoons, our favorites, right? It was an integral part. Dexter's Lab. It was crazy. But any brand that is able to hack connection to a community has cracked something, right? And it is something I feel that a lot of us. So I'm using past brands and how they hacked these things to show us the importance and show us how powerful these things can be. Another one. Milo. Even if, like, as I started that clap, you knew. Like, you knew the ending. Why? And there was something they now got to do, right? And they were able to associate the growth of basketball in the country to their involvement. And that was really powerful. Energetic activities, that if you are drinking Milo in this life, you will be strong, you will be active. And how many parents don't want their kids to be active? So I think it's just simple messaging and activities like this that kind of like help to change the game for a lot of brands. If you are able to understand the people that you're meant to reach and how best to reach them, maybe you may be hitting the gusher on a lot of things. I have spoken about this one a lot of times, but it's still worthy of mention because I think that was one of the best communication efforts ever done in this country, and I think it's GT Create. So I'm just going to talk about it small because I've spoken about it a lot. I think there's one other video I even spoke about it. Yes, I'm going to put that video here. I think that, man, they caught us. Those people in the university at 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, if you were in the class and you were not using GT Create, then it was like, are you even banking, right? Flashing your MasterCard with a flash MasterCard like ID card, right? It was so amazing to see, right? I mean, but again, it also shows that sometimes quality of services to follow this effort. The last one, MTN. How did you feel the first time they brought an MTN SIM to your house? It was this big cassette, like, I think it was a cassette thing. It was like, and the whole feeling was, guy, even if you want to start using, and I think they were the only ones then at that point, and they kind of like did a great job ensuring that a lot of us, then I can say fully well that some of the most memorable adverts you have in your head at the moment, if you live and you grew up in Nigeria, are from them, right? Oh, babe, now you're gonna make me cry, right? You want to give people song, or extra cool. Oh God. See, that thing has helped plenty people's relationship. If you know you were married based on extra cool, Just tell me in the comment section. Extra cool was, oh god, no. Extra cool was major. It was major. I think I was in senior secondary school at that point, and there was one other one that they even introduced that you kind of like could call one number for free based on the plan. If you just do that plan in the morning, you can call that same number throughout the day for free. I use that one. God, call my babe in the morning till evening. We'll be talking. Irrelevant things, we'll just be talking because they give us free. That extra cool, some people did not sleep. I'm not sure I did it. I didn't do it. Please don't. I didn't. Maybe I even once or twice, but she'll share extra cool. Talk to me. She'll share extra cool. But I'm just trying to say that when you're able to design activities or products that keep or targets the natural life of a defined demography, you may be latching onto something that is sustainable. Those are some of the few things I can share. So, if you're running brand strategy, brand comms for a brand, you may just be looking at what's that next big thing that I can do for my brand to target a specific community and get them coming back. So that's all on today's edition, and I hope you have enjoyed it. Tell me if you do. Like, subscribe, share. I have an amazing time. My name is Okwayemi Olugbemiro.